greetings. You are welcome to today's lesson. So I was a bit surprised when a certain person asked me that, do you know that the water that you have been taking has been taken before by a certain living things? So I was very confused, but I couldn't ask the person because he seemed to be in a hurry. But later I discovered that water on earth is never created nor destroyed, but it just moves from one place to another, and this movement is what we're referring to as a water cycle. Okay, so I've said that water on earth is never created or destroyed, but it just moves, and the movement is what we're referring to as a water cycle. Okay, so we can write what we have said. So we have said that water on earth is never created nor destroyed. It's neither created nor destroyed. Okay, water on earth is neither created nor destroyed, but it just moves. Okay, so then I understood this. Okay, so the movement of water on earth is what we're referring to as water cycle. So the simple definition of water cycle we can say is that it's simply the movement of water on earth. The movement of water on earth. Then we have said that water is neither created nor destroyed. So you cannot destroy water, it just moves. Okay, and the movement is what we're referring to as water cycle. So this movement, the movement is what we are calling water cycle. Okay, so this movement is what we are referring to as water cycle. Okay, so for us to clearly understand water cycle, we need to look at the following what we call key processes. So there are key processes on the water cycle that help us to fully understand how the water cycle works. So the water cycle is simply the movement of water. Okay, the key processes of the water cycle. So the first key process of the water cycle, we have evaporation. So these are just the processes that are involved on the water cycle or during the formation of water. So the first one, we've got evaporation. So I believe this is a familiar term with us. We've got evaporation. So what is evaporation? So this evaporation is simply the change of okay, before we get into evaporation, do you know that water exists in three states? Do you know that water exists in three states? And these states are we've got liquid, okay, we've got the solid, and the other one is gas. So the water just changes from this state to this state, or from a liquid to solid, or from liquid to gas, just like that. So these are the states of liquid, and these are the states of water. And for water to change from one state or to the other, they should be the processes, just like that. Okay, so back to evaporation now. So we said that evaporation is simply the change of water to gas, the change of water to gas, where a liquid changes to gas. A liquid changes to gas is what we call evaporation. So evaporation is involved during the processes of water cycle, during the process of the water cycle. So here the sun hits the water bodies. The sun hits the water bodies, and the water in those water bodies evaporates going into the atmosphere. Okay, so here we have said that the sun is the main key. The sun hits the water bodies, and these water bodies that we're talking about, they can be lakes, oceans, rivers. There are many. And so when the sun hits these water bodies, the water will evaporate going into the atmosphere. Have you ever thought of how the clothes dries up when you wash them? So they dry up as due to a process known as evaporation. The sun will hit that cloth, and the water in it will evaporate going into the atmosphere, hence your clothes being dried up. So here you should just know that under evaporation or on evaporation, water changes from liquid to gas or vapor. Let's use vapor because it's the appropriate term. Okay, to vapor. Water changes from liquid to water vapor, and this water vapor is found in the atmosphere. Okay, the second process that we need to know on the water cycle, it's transpiration. It's transpiration. So transpiration is simply the loss of water in the plant in the plants in the form of water vapor. So the plants will lose that water in them in the form of water vapor, and this process is what we are referring to as transpiration. So transpiration. So here we can say that plants release water vapor from the leaves. So you should know that plants release water vapor from the leaves. Okay, so this is what happens during transpiration. The plant will release the water in the form of vapor through the leaves. So here you should also know the simple term that we can use is for you to remember. You should also know that plants sweat too. Plants sweat too. Okay, so the plants do sweat. So when they do that, they will release the water vapor into the atmosphere. Hence, we're going to have water in the atmosphere. So this is what happens during the process of transpiration. The plant will release water from the leaves. Okay, and here for us to remember, you should know that plants sweat too. When you just remember this, you know that this is transpiration I'm talking about. Okay, so rather than these two terms that we have talked of, another process that is involved in the water cycle is condensation. Condensation. So during condensation, water vapor cools and form clouds. So that water which was released from the plant will cool and forms the cloud. So this is where the formation of the clouds comes in. So we can write that the water vapor which was lost by the plants, vapor cools and forms cloud. So that water which was released by plants will okay, that's water which was released by plants will cool down and forms cloud, and this is where the preparation of the rainfall comes in. So condensation is common in our day-to-day life. It's just that some of us don't just notice. Okay, notice that. So I'm pretty sure you have seen water droplets on a cold bottle, water droplets on the cold bottle. Okay, for example, if you put what's this, or maybe you put a bottle in the fridge, you're going to find out that time you're going to remove it, you find that there is water on the outside of the bottle. So that's the process of condensation. The vapor in the fridge has just turned into liquid through the process known as condensation. So condensation is just a process by which the water vapor turns into a liquid, and here it leads to the formation of the clouds. So clouds are formed due to the process of condensation in the atmosphere. Okay, and another process that we need to also know is precipitation. So precipitation, this is a common term. So this just means rainfall. Precipitation, this I here. Precipitation, okay, like this. Precipitation. So this precipitation just means water falls. Okay, water falls. So water will fall down on earth. It will fall down on the ground through the process of precipitation. So here it simply means that rainfall that we receive, that's what we are referring to as precipitation. It comes down as the process of precipitation. I believe you have heard of someone saying that these are precipitates. Okay, these are precipitates, means that those were formed due to the process of precipitation. So under precipitation, here you can just say that water falls. So water will fall as rainfall. Okay, and this rainfall can be in liquid form or snow. We've experienced the rains that are in snow forms. So on precipitation, just when you hear precipitation, just know that they're talking about the rainfall. And finally, the last stage, or the last process that we need to know about a water cycle is collection. So this is 5. Number 5 got collection. So here on collection, that water which came down will just collect in the water body, such as the river. So here we can just say the river. Here you can just say that water falls into the rivers and oceans, or we can just say water flows into the water bodies. So water flows into the water bodies. So if a question was to come on the water cycle, these are the process that you need to include. Okay, so for us to clearly understand this, I'll give you this simple trick. So you should remember this. Talk of this every teacher can miss or can pass class. Okay, so every teacher can pass class where, so these are the processes that I've just put it in a simple way that it can be used to remember. Every teacher can pass class where This E stands for evaporation that we've talked about. So this is evaporation, and then this is transpiration. T stands for transpiration, C stands for condensation, P stands for precipitation, and C stands for correction. So use this trick, correction, precipitation, condensation, transpiration, evaporation. Use this trick to remember the processes. Okay, so for us to clearly understand this, we need an image so that we see what we're talking about, and this is a simple image. So we've got this image. So this is a simple image of a water cycle. So we've got water cycle. Okay, the simple image of water cycle. So this is what happens during the formation of water. Okay, so we've got this. This is a water body. We can name as is a river. So we've got the river. So, and let's say we've got the sun here. So the sun will be somewhere here. Okay, just like a simple sun. So when this sun hits the water bodies, the water will rise in a vapor form. The water will rise in the vapor form and go in the atmosphere. So this is the arrow showing how the water will rise after the sun rays hits the water bodies. Okay, and this process is what we're referring to as evaporation. So we've got evaporation here. Okay, we've got evaporation. So evaporation is simply the rise of water into water vapor. So when these water bodies get eaten up by the sun, the water will rise in a vapor form and it will be in the atmosphere. Okay, so and this is a tree showing how the tree loses water into the atmosphere. So as we say that the plants do sweat too. So when this is especially in the morning, the plants lose water into the atmosphere, and this process is what we are referring to as transpiration. Okay, so this is transpiration. So after the water has gone to the atmosphere, or after the plants have lost water into the atmosphere, the water will now be there available in the atmosphere, and it will form cloud. And this process is what we're referring to as condensation, the formation of the clouds. Okay, condensation. After condensation, the clouds will be formed, and finally we are going to have rains coming down, and this is what we're referring to as precipitation. So we've got precipitation. Okay, we've got precipitation. After precipitation, the water will now run off into the water bodies again, and this is what we're referring to as correction. So the water will be corrected. So you see, so the cycle keeps on repeating itself. After this process might happen, this process will happen, also this process will happen, back again, go again, like just like that. It's just keep on repeating itself. So kindly subscribe, comment, and like the video. Okay, so we are going to end here. We'll proceed in our next lesson. Thanks for attending the lesson.